Okay, hi, this is Elliot Fishman, and welcome to our latest Facebook Live. And today's Tuesday, and we just did Tuesday rather than Thursday because theoretically I'm on jury duty. I'll be on the jury trying to convict people for speeding, jaywalking, and not paying traffic tickets for their meters running over. That is assuming they pick my number, and I'm hoping they don't pick my number so I can come to work and get some work done. But anyway, this is the last week of June. Last night we had our farewell dinner for our fellows. That was Monday night, and the fellows will work through this weekend, at least two of them. Most of them finish on Friday if they haven't finished already. And July 1st is Monday, and we get a new crop of fellows. And so that's how I put this thing down, transitions. And all of us in academics really feel the changes because so many people come and go. It's your fellows, it's other people's fellows, it's new residents. So it's really the biggest turnover there is in an academic center. And it's not just your department. I got a lot of people coming by to say goodbye to me who are in other departments, people who've been fellows, people who've been residents in surgery and medicine and oncology. I've been here for many years and are moving on to their first real job, maybe you want to call it that. A lot of people go to academics, a lot of people go to private practice. In radiology, we had about 13 or so fellows this year in diagnostic, and 3 of them are staying with us, so that's terrific. The rest of them are going back. A couple are from Canada. People are going back anywhere from Minneapolis to Memphis to the Eastern Shore of Maryland, back down to Miami. So we wish everybody only the best. I think we had great fellows this year, did a great job, and we hate to lose them. And hopefully the fellows we got, who we chose about 2 years ago, are going to be equally terrific. So we look forward to all of these new fellows coming this coming Monday. And, you know, the usual madness of getting people credentialed, getting people transitioned. Those of you who remember transitions in the past was not so hard. We read films on a view box, an alternator. The alternator went up or it went down. Wherever you went, they had the same alternator. You dictated, maybe you had a big tape, a small tape. Maybe someone picked up the tape. Maybe the tape was connected. You didn't need to switch the tape. Whatever it is, you'd come in, they go, there's the tape, there's the pedal, there's the bathroom, there's the films, start reading. Now you need like 4 days of learning how to use a PACS system, since many people have not had the same PACS we have. How to use your information systems, as many people don't have the same information system you have, and all of the intricacies of how you report, what you report, who you call, what scanners there are, all the bits of information that kind of make it, I'm sure, very stressful for the new people starting. It also makes it very stressful for the people who are staying, trying to survive and get the work done. So I think it's part of nature, right? It's kind of like the Lion King. We're at the cycle of life, and so we're happy to participate in that cycle. It does also, when you do the transition things, you also focus on maybe there's ways of doing things better. It's kind of a natural time to look at all the rotations you do, all the ways you divide the work up. Things have changed since last year, and hopefully you're making changes all of the time as necessary. But when you have transitions, and we know we need to tell the fellows, hey, this is when you start this rotation, this is when you finish, this is when you're expected to come in on Saturday or Sunday. You want to make certain that all of those numbers are correct because you're starting again. It's also a good way of reminding the faculty that you're supposed to be on time, whether it's 7:30 or 8 o'clock, whether it's 5 o'clock or 5:15 or 4:45. The memos we send go to the faculty and go to the new fellows. The new fellows don't know what was or wasn't. They just know what is. Hopefully the faculty know what is and they've been following the rules, but those who haven't been so perfect on following the rules will have a short memory enhancement. So that part, I think, is also very good. I think transitions also relate to the work we do. And so I think it's a bit early, but one of the transitions we all speak about this year is AI. And I think we've been speaking a lot about it. I think it has a long way to go, obviously. Some people get really stressed out about radiology and how it impacts their future. And we've said this before and gone on record to say that radiology will change, but it always has changed. So that's no surprise. And AI really increases the possibility for us to do better than we're doing now and improve patient care by simply making us more accurate. Now, if you think that the computer will replace the radiologist, in the short term, that's not going to happen. You could argue in certain areas it's more likely to. Mammography, looking at breast images, looking at perhaps an ultrasound of the thyroid, looking at a chest x-ray. But when you get down to things that have a million incidental findings, like an abdominal CT or a body MR, where there's so much variability that what you're looking for may not be the only thing you need to find. So we're working on the Felix project. So our goal would be perfect pancreatic mass detection. So let's just say we are incredible and we're 100% accurate, 100% of the time. That's terrific. But what about on that CT we just looked at, what about the liver and the spleen and the kidneys and the bowel and the adrenals and the aorta and the bone? Well, till every one of those things is really figured out by the computer, we got jobs. And so the incidental findings, so maybe that's my rule. I should draw a graph. The more the incidental findings, the less likely AI is to be a replacement. The less incidental findings, you're looking at mammography, it's a breast only. You could imagine why a computer is so good at looking at changes over time, so good at looking at detecting minimal calcifications. You can imagine why that would be of more likely to happen. Now, I think that the other thing that is changing and has been changing, we've spoken about, relates to medical education. I've sat through a few meetings about the whole way of education changing. And just the fact that I'm sitting here speaking to you today, and you can watch this live on your phone or your computer or your iPad, or you can come back tonight or tomorrow and watch it as if it was live, basically tells you how education has changed. Before, if you wanted to see me, you could watch me maybe on a VHS tape or a CD. We did some of those. But typically, it was you'd go to a live lecture. And we loved doing those lectures. We all traveled around doing them and ran courses from Hopkins, for example. But now the courses, no matter whose course you go to, the numbers are down. The number of courses is down. Again, some people don't like to travel. People don't like to mix business and pleasure. And people have shown that women don't like to tie up their weekends with work. They want looking at family time. So, as women became a greater part, not so much of radiology alone, but just in medicine, their expectations or what they were willing to do changes the process. And now also on the practical side, in the old days, the groups were smaller. And I remember the groups in Baltimore would give each of their members a certain amount of time off and a bunch of money, and it was use it or lose it, because they all felt education was so critical. And people went to meetings. The meetings were in nice places, and you kind of balanced the rewards of the job with vacation, meeting. And so people love going to meetings. And the fact is now, even though things have changed, when you go to meetings in nicer places or wherever you're going, you see a lot of more senior people because they've spent their whole career learning how to do things at a meeting, and they really like it. They find it engaging, fulfilling, and fun. New people want to look at things on their phone, on the computer. They want to look at it for a second and look somewhere else, watch TV, do 27 other things, but what they're supposed to be doing. But that's the topic for a different day. But it's a change in how things are done. And as you go forward, I think you're going to see more and more of that the meetings just are becoming less and less a part of what we do. And then, of course, the money thing becomes a big issue. As I mentioned, groups gave you a reasonable amount of money to go to a good place. That was great. Now, most groups don't give you time off for the meeting. Remember, you may get 8 to 10 weeks vacation/meeting. Well, if you tell a radiologist or any physician that vacation or meeting vacation, or meeting, they're doing vacation. If you say, like you used to say, there's 3 weeks of meeting or 2 weeks of meetings, use it or lose it, people will go to the meeting, especially when you're paying. Now you say, we're not giving you the money for the meeting, and we're not giving you a specific time. If you want to go to the meeting, go ahead, pay for it yourself, take your time, and go. We're all professionals, but I think at the end of the day, human behavior is very predictable. People who have been involved in the process don't plan on spending their own money for education, and they don't plan on using their vacation time for going to a meeting. And I think that is the crux of the issue. And if you look at the groups getting bigger and bigger, when you were a small group in town, you had 10 people, and you said, okay, let's give everyone 10K. That's 100K. We all enjoyed it. That was great. But now you say, okay, we're going to give everyone 10K, and our group is now 1,000 radiologists. Now we're talking about $10 million. And our whole company makes about $1.2 million a year. We give out this money for trips, we're going to lose $9 million a year. So I think it's been a matter of the business model. Some companies I've seen, not to mention any names, it's not a bad thing necessarily, run their own meetings. They do education online, so people from their groups can get the CME credits. So there is ways of doing it. I'm not saying it's bad. I'm just saying it's a transition from how we did things to how we're going to do things. Now, if you look forward to the future with things like AI, we're all going to need to learn more. But again, I think the process of doing that will probably be more computer-based or web-based, where you could be doing it from anywhere at any time. Now, hopefully we can develop programs that are engaging enough. Hopefully people will lose the fact they can't really concentrate because there's so many distractions. You watch a person, they're watching this, they're looking at that, they're looking at that. I mean, you look at the elevator, you're on the elevator, everyone's looking at their phone. Every once in a while, the old days, people would talk. They're talking to strangers, maybe it's a little bit scary. But the point is, everybody is somewhere else. There's a great, I heard Jerry Steinfeld at a concert a couple of years ago, and he made the point that people, you're walking with someone, you're taking a walk, and they're on their phone looking at their email. And what are they basically saying? They go, I am with you, but you aren't that important because I'm looking at my phone. I'm seeing what else is happening. You're there, but what else is happening? I got to know. I got to know what's happening at this moment, what extremely consequential events are happening. The truth is there's probably not much. Now I'm looking at our notes here. This is from you, Scott, vacation and meeting. And vacation and meeting was not necessarily a bad thing. I think that, if you went and signed in and didn't go to the meeting, that would be a bad thing. But my experience has been over 36 years of Hopkins courses. People may have ducked out of a lecture here and there, or maybe left a little bit earlier on the last day because of issues with transportation. But people, 95+% of people went to the lectures. I think you make a commitment. Now, the lectures aren't going from 7 a.m. to 12 p.m. We go now from 7 a.m. with the hands-on. So lectures start at 8. We go to 5 or 4 or 3. So it is a busy day, but I think we've cut back meetings now from 4 days to 3 days because people don't want to be off that much. We try to end things on Saturday. We make sure things that don't overlap weeks because people now with big groups, you really pick a week. We try to advertise earlier on CTisus because we know people need to make decisions that in groups now, the way you choose weeks off is very much like the NBA or the NFL lottery, right? You have all people's names, you pick 1 week, I pick a week, and you go up and down. It's a very good way of doing things in a fair manner, but you got to make your decisions early. You got to draft the right weeks. And some people have kids, so the right weeks are determined not by themselves, but by the kids' schedule. Some people don't have kids or the kids are grown. So then it's basically a little bit on your schedule and what it is you like to do, whether you're going to someplace warm or someplace cold, or you just want to do whatever you want to do. So I think that works out well. Now we're down to the very end of this talk. So if people have questions, it's a good time to ask us questions. I think one of the things also we do want, and you could post it on the site after the lecture is finished, is topics for this Facebook Live. People do write to me and people do comment on things. And so depending what people comment on, we will often choose that specific topic. We don't choose topics 6 months in advance or 3 months in advance or 1 month in advance. I know we try to do it a week in advance. Lily's away next week, so when she leaves, she wanted to post next week's thing. So I told her we'll speak about cinematic rendering. But I'm willing to speak about almost anything that would be of interest to our audience. Now, I know a lot of you are on the podcast or Facebook Live now. Many of you do know, and in fact, we have many, many times the number of people who come back within 24 hours or even more than 24 hours. So the nice thing about this process is everything is available for eternity and beyond. And I did not see Toy Story 4. Someone's going to ask the question, the eternity and beyond. That's Toy Story 1. I guess I'll get to see it eventually. I love Toy Story 1. I haven't paid that much attention. I haven't gone to the movies. I think the last movie I saw, what was it? Maybe Toy Story 1. Probably not. Anyway, any other questions? What should we call AI since you don't like the term? No, I like the term AI. AI is good, but I don't, artificial intelligence sounds long. AI sounds good. When you say AI, or you can use deep learning, but AI, I think terms are meant to be, what do people understand? And AI is a good term. And as I said, go look at CTisus. We have a whole thing we're building out on AI, and it's getting better and better. There's a miscellaneous category, which has all the articles I find that are in non-radiology journals. So it's not, and I don't mean non-radiology journals like surgery. It's like Fortune magazine, Time magazine, Wired, things that are looking at AI, particularly on the healthcare side of AI. And so things like Fortune and Forbes and Bloomberg Business Week all focus on AI because it is a game changer. People don't know how much and how real, but it is going to change everything. So it's worthwhile looking at that part of the site. And with that, I guess I'll say at 17 minutes, 39 seconds, have a great day and have a great week. And we'll see you later on CTisus. Bye-bye.